it's like, okay, you have representatives of so many different countries here. That in itself, just you feel that, kind of greatness, like that collaboration between the world is happening right now. That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. But on the lighter side,
No,
so then if you, all right, Bassam, I got a question for you.
tell me.
Because I mean, one thing I love about you is like you're just like pure at heart. Like you're got that childlike um perspective of just, loving life and kind of like, I don't know, that's one of my favorite qualities in people is if they have a childlike attribute, childlike wonder and just like zest for life. And so that's just a little compliment I'll throw your direction. But
Thanks.
so you as a kid, take me back to you as a kid.
Mhm.
Were you always in line with this, like that you were really excited about multilateral diplomacy? Like, when did that start? Were you on the playground, like settling arguments and be like, all right, this person really needs this for you to, for that you to play? It's like, then you could play, or your turn next. Like, what were you like as a kid?
um, yeah. Well, first, to what you said, I really believe that you need this part of your personality to think as a kid to be happy in life. And I think that the day I will stop thinking as a kid on what I like, on what I want to be happy, I think like some part of me would be dead, and I don't want to reach this day. Of course, you need to be responsible as an adult, reduce the risk of life and everything. But when you think on what you really want to do, to enjoy your holidays or to enjoy your weekend, you need some time to think as a kid, and that's something I want to keep in my personality. I hope I will be able to keep. But during my childhood, um, uh, just to give you an idea about the background, my father is himself a lawyer, you know, and like he really has uh, this spirit of like being the guy who give you argument to convince you or tries to explain you things. And I think I got that from my father. um, I'm not sure that at 8 or 7 I was already talking about multilateral diplomacy. uh, that's something I discovered later. But yeah, when you say about like trying to resolve conflicts between two friends or something, yeah, I had some of that. Yeah. Maybe I wasn't aware that it was diplomacy already at that moment, but um, I really try to be friendly with as much people as possible. So of course there is some exceptions. Like anyone, I'm not perfect. Like sometimes I'm not friend with someone just because like that. But there is something I can't explain why we're not friends, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't want to have conflict with this person, but I already know that we won't be friends. I'm sorry. That's human, you know. Um, but yeah, like in my group of friends from the when I was teenager or when I was child, I always try like to make things peacefully, and just if we have to choose between two choices, some if possible, I try to find the third choice that make everybody satisfied. Yeah. uh, yeah, I think it's something of from my personality. Yeah.
So it seems like all the work that you've done thus far really suited you. You weren't too lost. Like a lot of kids just starting college, for example. They're like, oh, what do I want to major in? I don't know.
Mm.
And it's something we all have to find out is what job really fits us. Did so you knew pretty early, like this job came to you, or is it kind
No,
of like
no,
overlap with the
about
lawyer?
diplomacy concretely. Um no, no. When I graduated from high school, I wanted to become an attorney, because I started to study law first. And yeah, as I told you, my father is a lawyer, and like so how it is when your father has one profession, and sometimes he asks you for help for his job, so you already know more or less about this job,
Mm.
and then like it can happen that you want to do the same job. So that was my starting point with the legal studies. um, but then by studying law, I learned about international law and then international relations, and yeah, it suited me, as you say. That was something that I was interested in without doing efforts, and I was really motivated to like to read more about this topic, to do research about this topic, to get more culture for myself. Like, you know, for when you do something because the professor asked you to do it. So it can happen on some topics, but with international relations, it came to me very interesting without any effort. So that's why I went further in this. And as well, when I was at the university, I did the Model United Nations. So it's kind of a simulation of United Nations, and every student is a diplomat for 2 or 3 days, and like they tell you, okay, you represent Netherlands, you represent Tanzania, you represent Brazil. Find an agreement, you know, about this topic, you know, and that's
That
where you learn to negotiate, you learn to get the knowledge you need about this topic, so you can first define your objective as a country, as a delegation, but as well to know what are the objectives of the other countries, because a good negotiator has to know the background of the other part, to know where is the area in which you can find a balanced agreement, because you need to be two, or you need to be a group to agree on a topic. um, so
yeah. That
yeah.
is one really really powerful life lesson, right? Is to make people come together in agreement. Like, wow, that's maybe the strongest
Mm.
skill that you could really ask for. What other skills or life lessons did you learn from traveling or the UN, you know, all this diplomatic efforts other than, you know, teamwork? You know,
Yeah.
what are some other life lessons that you could impart to us?
Yeah, I would start by traveling. I would say it makes you think about who you are and what is your culture about, because when you are always in the same city, the same country, you grow up in an environment in which what you live, the way of living, is very normal because everyone is like that. So you don't even question why we do this, or why we eat this, or why people meet together by this, you know, by those traditions. It's so obvious because you don't know anything else. And by traveling, I think it made me think about my background, and identify what are the good things and what are the things I should change or try to change. Uh, when I say it's about myself, I'm not here to teach other Tunisians about how life should be and how to change their culture, but about myself. Yeah, there is things that I discovered that made me think about myself and made me wish to become a better person. And also, as a Tunisian, I teach things to my friends in Spain, France, or in the US, about things we do in Tunisia that I think is good, and we should share with them. I don't know. That's what traveling gave me most, I think. Um, we think about things that were obvious to me that are not that much.
So new perspectives is one of the
Yeah.
best things. I've found that too in traveling, and the rewards are just immeasurable. Like you become a much better version of yourself because
Exactly.
you're not because you were taking things for granted before you traveled. Like you're saying, those traditions and things, they become so normal that you don't really even think about them or
Mm.
why we do it or whatever.